Hey there guys and welcome to Blood Bowl 2. Today we're going to be looking at the Necromantic team who have just been released. And I'm going to take you through the basic ideas, basic stuff. Yeah, we'll have a chatty chat, I guess. I think I just said chatty chat. Okay, so we won't actually go in for a proper team name. That looks fine. Oh, that's something. And blah 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 blah. I mean, you know, there are a whole load of themes you could probably go with and think about, but I don't really want to at the moment. Okay, so with the Necromantic team, you have the zombies. Movement is 4, which is terrible. Strength is 3, agility is 2, armor value is 8. So they can take a hit. They do also have regeneration. We'll check that out very quickly. If player suffers casualty, roll d6 for regeneration after the injury roll. And you can get a kind of cancellation of the injury, which is very useful. The ghoul. I'll go into like their roles and what you want to be doing with them and things like that. After we've gone through all of them, the grave robber is his name. Yeah, the ghoul, movement allowance 7, very agile, very movie. Yeah, very movie. Movement allowance 7, strength 3, agility 3, armor value 7. So these guys are kind of basically Skaven. They do also have dodge. They will be your ball carriers for the majority of the game. They are very susceptible to injury. They don't have regeneration. As a necromantic team, protecting your ghouls is probably one of the most important parts of your game, and being careful with them. Either that or having a fair few of them, but you can only have 2 on the necromantic team, so I guess, yeah, I think it is not insane to immediately consider having 2 ghouls on the pitch. They are 70,000, but luckily the zombies are really cheap, so the zombies do kind of make up for it in that sense. The wights, you'll have seen them on the undead team, but movement allowance 6, strength 3, agility 3, armor value 8. They do have block and regeneration, so I'm not sure what. Yeah, okay, so the other thing we should probably do is, here you can see their levels up. They need doubles for anything except for the general skills. Honestly, they really will just be kind of blocks for you. You know, just throwaway blocks. You know, they're sacrificial pieces in their entirety. The ghouls obviously have general and agility, so, you know, they level up kind of passing or running. I'd say you're probably running you'll probably be doing a running game, because the wights have general and strength as their standard levels up. So you're not going to be getting dodge block easily, you know, catch, anything like that. You're going to be aiming to be a bit more bashy than anything else. So yeah, the movement allowance 6 isn't too bad. The strength 3, agility 3 is standard, and the AV8, you know, it's not amazing, it's not terrible. Then you have the flesh golem, who have regeneration, stand firm, thick skull. Stand firm basically means when you get pushed, you don't actually get pushed. Can be very useful. They have movement allowance of 4, right in line there with the zombies. They have a strength of 4, agility of 2, and armor of 9. With regeneration and thick skull, it makes them one of the more sturdy players. Flesh golems are very cool. With their stand firm, you put them on the line or you put them on the front of a cage, and you actually get into a situation where, unless someone blitzes you, they don't actually make any headway, even if they do knock you over, which is really nice. The thick skull, again, well, let's just look at this. Obviously, strength in general. Now, I'd say in nearly every setup, you will have these two guys right at the beginning. And I'd say the reason behind that is because you need them getting SPP, you need them getting skill levels as soon as possible. Getting them block is fairly important. Uh, the Necromantic team is interesting, and you're gonna have to be not careful with them, but because they're so slow and they have a 4 strength, you know, yeah, it's worth like getting them the SPP because they're not going to get touchdowns. They're not going to get it anyway apart from injuries, so you may as well start as soon as possible. Add that onto the fact that, you know, you don't have let's see here, yeah. So you don't have like really many other options when it comes to Bashi. You don't have any big guys, so it's fairly important. And so these flesh golems, along with the zombies, will probably make up your center, and then your sides will make up your whites and your werewolves. We'll look at the werewolves now. Let's see how they did the werewolves. Not terribly. They look kind of cool. I've always found the werewolves are the things that are the ones that don't get done that well. So general and agility, passing and strength are doubles. Claw, which basically makes anyone with a higher armor roll have an armor roll of 8 or more instead of, you know, yeah. So to break armor. Frenzy gives you 2 attacks, which is pretty nice, and then obviously regeneration as well, very useful. So the Necromantic team kind of make up for no bashing with the regeneration ability, which means that if, aside from the ghouls of course, which means that if they take an injury, they can always regenerate and not take that injury. It makes the Necromantic team pretty useful. Unfortunately, you can see here, like, the werewolves and the flesh golems are 120,000. There we go. Are 120,000 each. So from a starting a million. Is it a million? Yeah. From a starting a million. God damn it. If you buy 2 of these guys each, you're on already almost taken half of your team. So if you take 2 of all of them, you have 220,000 left. You can get to 12 players with 60,000 left. If you then go to your rerolls, that's 70,000. So you can get all of your team members along with a reroll, so you'll have 11 players. But you'll only have 1 reroll. And with no one with 4 agility, I'd say 3 rerolls is almost a necessity. Now, really good players can probably get away with it. I don't claim to be a really good player. And, you know, as always with these tutorial guides, these aren't to make you amazing. These are just to give you a feel, just to give you your starting ideas, so you can go on and become better than me. So, Necromancer, once per match, if a player on the opposing team with strength 4 or less that does not have regeneration or stunty is killed, you may place a new zombie player in your reserve box, if you like. Which is, it's alright. Coach assistant, fan factor, etc., etc. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 3 team rerolls. I think 3 team rerolls is what you should be aiming for, unless you're really comfortable and you think you can get away with 2, but I wouldn't advise it. So I would say the starting lineup would probably be. Let's have a look. Now you got 50,000 left, which would be probably another zombie, I guess, as a spare. So yeah, that could work. Get your flesh golems out first. They're the only ones with strength above 3, and you want to get them skilled up quickly if you can. The 2 whites give you a good block and good movement. The ghouls as well. So I seem to remember, I may be completely off base, but I seem to remember the werewolves getting strength and not agility. Maybe I'm completely off base on this. Yeah, the werewolves are the unit that a lot of people will say you should be getting out first. Now, this is a fairly conservative team, and it means you will want to get some winnings as soon as possible to replace your zombies with werewolves. So, you know, you get a couple of zombies, get a couple of werewolves, get rid of a couple of zombies, basically. You know, there's no problem getting rid of those zombies. But I'd say this, if you're just starting to learn the game, you probably want to go with this because it gives you 2 ghouls and 2 flesh golems and 2 whites, and they're all very useful. And with the strength skills on the whites, it means when you get your werewolves out, you're going to have better protection for them. And the 2 targets that your team is going to be suffering, basically, is the enemy team is going to target your ghouls, and the enemy team is going to target your werewolf. Now, the main reason for this is the ghouls do not have regeneration. They do not have armor value, a good armor value. They're basically Skavens with worse movement, and you'll very often build them as your ball carriers, and you should. You know, getting safe hands is a great first choice. You know, getting dump off and things like those, you know, are also great choices. However, if you're playing against any team, if they pick a target, it is going to be your ghouls because they can take them out a lot more effectively than anyone else. The second one, of course, is going to be your werewolves because, well, they're quite dangerous. They've got the fastest move. They've still got agility 3. They've got agility skills, so you're going to probably be building them a bit agility anyway, unless you get lucky and roll some doubles. You know, get a mighty blow. And of course, if you do roll doubles, get mighty blow. I mean, mighty blow claw is a great set to have, and the werewolves are very agile. They've got frenzy. You know, it's a great time basically. With your flesh golems, I'd say, you know, first thing you get is block. After that, it's up to you pretty much. You know, figure out what works for you. With your whites, if you can get them dodge, but it's not a necessity. With the strength skills, it's gonna be what type of game you want to play. The Necromantic team are fairly versatile. Obviously, with the zombies and the flesh golems having such low agility and movement, it does limit your options. But with your whites, your werewolves, and your ghouls, you can figure something out. So other setups would probably be... Let's have a look-see. If we... Yeah, that's not going to be anywhere near. I'd say you definitely want 2 flesh golems, and you probably want your whites just for the block. So that could work. 1 werewolf, 2 flesh golems, 2 whites, a ghoul, and 5 zombies. You don't have any spare players, but that could work. I'd say let's reset. If you really see, the thing is the team rerolls get more expensive which can always be a problem. But if you go for two rerolls, I don't think you can get the... No, you're still a little bit off. So if you were to go with 0 rerolls, you could get everything you wanted. But I'd say probably what you want to go with is 1 werewolf, 2 flesh golems, 2 whites, 2 ghouls, and then yeah, probably that. Probably so 12 players and 1 werewolf and 2 of everything else, and then fill the rest with zombies. And that's a pretty good setup, I'd say. And then all you need to do, barring, you know, losing players, all you need to do is get that werewolf, get that second werewolf. So I'd say that's not a terrible setup. Aside from that, of course, you know, you can drop a ghoul, you can drop a white, you can even drop the flesh golems if you want to. You know, have a bit of play around and maybe see what works for you. But when it comes down to tactics, it really probably will be, you know, use your ghouls as ball carriers, use your whites as blitzers and blockers, use your flesh golems as your strength piece, use them to push or use them to especially hold back, and then your werewolves are very much your blitzers. They're very much your agile piece, which you can move around and use as a buffer, or you know, whatever you need to. Again, never forget that the werewolves have frenzy, so you can use them very effectively to push pieces off the board. And I'd say, you know, like they're an interesting team, but you should find yourself fairly comfortable with them fairly quickly if you enjoy other kind of not too bashy but not too agility based teams. They're kind of a specialized team, I guess. Personally, I have a bit of a soft spot for the Necromantic team. I've had a lot of fun with the werewolves especially, but yeah, it's going to be a matter of, you know, whether you've enjoyed this team and whether you don't. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is the Necromantic team. I will be doing a match with them. I think I'll keep this. It doesn't have as many rerolls as I tend to enjoy starting off with, but I'll keep this team, and I'll have them in a match. Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen some of these teams. Valkyria, Neil before Zod. Yeah, so we'll get them in a. I'll put them in a solo league. Yeah, sure, that sounds fine. And we'll play against a human team, which isn't too bad. And yeah, so expect a video on just kind of me versus AI very quickly. Thank you. Expect a video on the Necromantic team, just featuring a match, probably tomorrow. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I helped a little bit. You know, get you started off on your Necromantic experience. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Always helps me out a lot, and I do really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.